Alright guys, so here we are for round number 25 of the F1 2014 Career Mode Championship. Here we are in Canada, probably one of my favourite tracks on the entire calendar. We've done really well here in the past and I'm looking to do that once again here in Season 2. So here we are in qualifying 2, just cutting straight to that. We got through Q1 fairly easily on our first set of primes. We're still using that same set of primes here in this second session, just trying to get a banker time in, I guess, and just assess where our pace is in the relative order of the field. So coming to the end of our first lap now, we'll see what time we can do. I think it's going to be like a 16, maybe even a 17. It's a 16.5 and it puts us provisionally on pole position at the moment, but I don't think it's going to stand too long at the top of the times as everyone sort of gets their banker times in as well. So for this round, we've gone for a brand new power unit. Oh, not brand new. We used it once before in Bahrain, so it's only 98% fresh in terms of its useful life. So hopefully in this round it can give us some kind of benefit now as we head off now on a set of super soft tyres. We need to break into the top 10 to progress into Q3. So now we're pushing as much as we can, actually touching the wall there, and with the realistic damage, we only just grazed it, but it chipped off a bit of our front wing end plate. So a little bit of it's probably going to cost us a little bit for the remainder of the lap, but we just need to push as much as we can to break into that top 10. So here we go now, coming through the wall of champions. We've actually run wide a little bit and we've hit the wall at the wall of champions, and now we're out of qualifying. We will not make it to Q3. I think we will start in at least 12th place. So what a disaster that was. We'll need to have a look at that on the replay. We just came into this final chicane too hot. We could sort of see like the rear tires were sort of, the rear of the car was sliding out, and then we mounted the second curbing too much, and then the angle I needed to turn for the final part of the corner was just too much. We've hit the wall, destroyed our vehicle, potentially lost a set of super soft tyres as well for the race. So there we go. We're going to qualify in 12th place for the Canadian Grand Prix. We were 1.5 seconds off, only 4 tenths away from getting into Q3 on a set of primes. When you compare that to the rest of the field who are on super softs for that session, I think that's pretty impressive, and I think we have a decent amount of pace. Jenson Button is in 4th, so that just shows how good this Mclaren is at this circuit, and in a way that's kind of very disappointing. I think we could have maybe challenged Mercedes for the top of the qualifying order. So here we are for the race. We're starting in 12th place on a set of super soft tyres. The strategy today is option prime, stopping on lap 10 and then on lap 20. So we'll see how we go. We have a 14% chance of rain to occur sometime during the course of this Grand Prix, but we're not worrying about that now as away we go here in Canada. Looks like we got off to a fairly solid start there, I must say, despite the rear tyres absolutely blowing up off that start. But coming into turn 1 now, we'll try and get past the 2 Force Indias. Bottas going really wide through that little section there, and now he's dropped a lot of time to us. Now we're up into P8. We can see Jenson Button, after getting a good qualifying, is not doing well for himself off the start here. Ricciardo and Alonso getting very feisty on this opening lap, and then Alonso backs out of it. Going up the inside now of Ricciardo. We're going to have to leave him room on the outside. Losing the back end slightly, but we get the move done, and now we're into P5. So got to chase down, I think it's Bottas now, is it? Yeah, no, it was Massa. My bad. But now lap 3, we can see Fernando Alonso is on the back of us, but we're on the back of Massa going around the outside thanks to the help of DRS, and now we're into P4. The leaders now, they're about 2 or 3 seconds up the road. They're probably going to be pretty hard to catch, but I'm going to do my best to make some inroads on those guys despite the tyre wear starting to kick in. It's only a 10-lap stint around here in Canada on a set of option tyres, but Ricciardo trying to hold around the outside coming into the final chicane. I've got to say, that was very brave and very risky, but it didn't quite pull off there for him. And on the next lap here, we can see, I'm just showing a replay of me going through the chicane. Took a little bit too much curving there on the entry. To be fair though, you've sort of got to do that, because if you don't take too much curb on the entry, you sort of mount the second curb too much and it can spit you up into the wall. But on the exit there, using up all the exit space and going right up against the wall, using up all the road, trying to push as much as I can to catch Vettel. Unfortunately, it's not really working at the moment. The tyre wear has got out of control a little bit, especially with the rear tyres. And through some crucial traction zones around the circuit, it's it's costing us big time, unfortunately. But now it's lap 10, we're coming in for a set of super soft tyres. I've decided to go for the super softs once again in an effort to sort of maintain track position. And if I lose track position to, say, Alonso in the pits, I can sort of make up that time back, like compared to being on a set of primes. Because if Alonso gets past me here, which he doesn't, thankfully, if I was stuck on a set of primes and Alonso gets in front of me, then he would have been gone for the rest of the race. So essentially what you're doing by taking a set of super softs in the middle part of the race, you're essentially going for an aggressive strategy. So you're effectively getting all your fast tyres out of the way at the start of the race, trying to get track position, and then defending at the end on a set of primes. Whereas the defensive strategy is going for a set of primes in the middle part of the race. It's a little bit more safe. Like, for example, if a safety car comes out between now and the next pit stop. So if a safety car comes out now, for example, it's going to hurt all the super soft runners because they've now effectively got their slow tyres to run for the rest of the race. I'm pretty bad at explaining this, but I'll probably explain it better at a later date. But as you can see here, we've got the, I guess, the strategies of all the drivers at the moment. You can see, I think it's a pretty even split between primes and options through this middle stint. So we're going to see a lot of cars being quick at the end, so we'll need to be wary of that. And I think the cars in front of me are actually on the prime tyres. So for them to, I guess, maintain the kind of track position that they do is very impressive. Even though we're catching Vettel, I don't think it's by enough to warrant any kind of attack at the end of the race. So unfortunately now I think it's going to just be a defensive effort trying to hold off P4 from Alonso, who's about 5 seconds back. So that's the equation coming into the rest of the race. We're going to be stopping on the next lap, but don't worry about that. The safety car has now come out on lap 19. This changes the game now. So we've got to come in for a set of prime tyres now because we're only 1 lap away from our pit stop window. And the final stint here on primes is going to be a long one anyway. It's just been extended by an extra lap. So this final run to the end of the race is going to be a very long and excruciating stint, especially on the rear tyres. We've got to be very cautious. Well, not cautious, but just we've got to drive very carefully on this final set of primes. So we're now coming in. I think that's a lap car. It's a Williams. A Williams is lapped down somehow in this race. Going on a set of prime tyres. Hopefully we can rejoin at least in the top 10. What's interesting to note, guys, is that the prime runners at the moment, I don't believe they're coming in for their pit stop. They'll be coming in about 5 laps time. So this is very interesting. I think this might actually help us out because once they pit, I think effectively we're going to have the lead of the race, but it's not going to be by much. They're going to come out, I don't know, 5-10 seconds behind me and on a set. Okay, so this changes the game once again. Rain coming down in about 15 minutes time. As I was saying before, the leaders who are on the prime to the middle part of this race, they'll be coming in for their final stop in 4 laps time. If they can break away and build out some kind of a gap, I think they might rejoin 5-10 seconds behind me. But then for the next 10 laps after that, they'll be on super soft tyres and much faster than me. The rain is going to come down somewhere towards the end as well, so it's going to be very interesting. Here we go for the restart. We can see Massa getting off to a fairly decent one. Just a lot of lap cars getting in the way. Well, getting out of the way, rather. And thankfully, they don't hold me up too much. As now, Massa making his stop on the next lap. That is very early from Williams. Maybe he's going for 3 stops. Traditionally in career mode series, I've seen Williams sometimes go for an extra pit stop. Maybe that's what's happening today. But either way, lap 25, this is the scheduled lap for the prime runners to come in for their final stop. And they're doing so. We now have the lead of this race. But crucially, how big is that margin going to be to Hamilton? It's 3.6 seconds. I must say, when he first came out of the pits, it was about 5 seconds. So he's about a second a lap faster than us. So on that math, he's going to... Well, Jesus, he's caught us by the next lap. I was going to say by lap 30, but he's actually caught us by lap 28. He's only a second back, so I think by the time we get to the next DRS detection point, Hamilton is probably going to breeze past us. So luckily in the safety car period we saved fuel, but look at Hamilton, he's already on the attack. We're getting another warning for the rain coming down in 5-10 minutes, I think it was. But either way, we're not really focusing on the rain at the moment. Hamilton hits the wall on the exit of that corner. He's getting very, very close for comfort now. We can't really worry about the weather too much. We're just trying to defend the lead of this race. The longer we can stay in the lead, the better. I'm sort of hoping now that the rain comes down, I guess, so I can switch on to a set of intermediate tyres. We've got aging prime tyres compared to Hamilton's very fresh super soft tyres. He's going to go around the outside now on the back straight thanks to the help of DRS. Is it going to be a similar move to what Ricciardo did earlier on in the race? He does a bunny hop on the final part of the chicane, but he had to back out there. There was really no room for him to go through. Lap 29, we can see Hamilton is still hanging on there. This is a very troublesome corner for us. The traction is very poor. It's just like the final corner at Melbourne, and now Hamilton is going to try and go up the inside. As you know, he backs out coming into this right-left chicane. So just holding on to the lead for now. It's getting very, very tight indeed. I believe Hamilton's best chance is trying to pass us on the back straight here. So maybe Mercedes reallocating their ERS usage, maybe saving it all up for this back straight here. We'll have to wait and see now. I think we can see Vettel is now up in a third, and he's right behind Hamilton as well. So it looks like we're starting a bit of a train here. Hamilton trying to go around the outside now into the final chicane like he did on the previous attempt. He's not quite close enough this time, and I think Vettel has lost his front wing on the back of Hamilton there, just brake checking into that chicane. Hamilton does the bunny hop, and then Vettel has lost his entire front wing, and he's going to have to go around and do an entire lap without a front wing, maybe even retire. And yes, he has. Vettel is out of the race. Someone else is out of the race too. I believe it's Hamilton. If it's Hamilton, we're going to take the lead of this, well, not the lead of the Grand Prix, but the lead of this championship. And now, with only a couple laps left to go, we can see Fernando Alonso has almost come out of nowhere. He's going to try and take the lead from us in the dying laps of this race. The rain is now coming down. Perez, out of nowhere, is now up in a third place, but 6 seconds back. So it's going to be a two-horse race now for the lead of this race. The grip is diminishing. It's now the final lap. It's not quite wet enough for a set of intermediate tyres, so I thought I'd play it safe, stay out on this dead set of primes, and just trying to defend this lead as much as I can from Alonso. We're now going through the hairpin for the final time. I just really need to get a good exit, try and minimize the wheel spin, and shift up early in the gears. There's a bit of wheel spin happening now with the diminished grip and traction now. We can see Alonso is hanging in there. We're putting it up into fast, but I don't know if there's DRS available to him because the rain is now coming down. But look at that, we have better straight line speed than Alonso, and that's probably just won us this race. Coming through the final corner now, and we get a sloppy exit, I guess, a bit of wheel spin. But coming up to the line now, we've won here in Canada, somehow. Hamilton DNFs, and now that's our second race win in a row. So there we go, lads. We've won the Canadian Grand Prix from Fernando Alonso and Sergio Perez. Bit of drama in that race with Hamilton and Vettel retiring from the final corner chicane contact. I actually didn't think there was anything wrong with Hamilton's car, but seemingly he had to retire from the race. And for whatever reason, it says that we won by over a lap, which wasn't the case. We won by literally about a tenth or two. But at least the positions are all still the same. So in terms of the drivers, we now lead by 3 points over Lewis Hamilton. And that is absolutely massive. Because at the start of the season, the McLaren car was 9th and 10th best in terms of the field. But gradually with R&D development, we've slowly started to improve. And now the results are starting to pick up, and the tyre wear is gradually getting better. That's what happens in career modes. The seasons, traditionally with me and most other people as well, they start off slow and then the car gets quicker and quicker. So for us to lead so early on in the championship, I think it's going to be very interesting from here on in. Austria, it's going to be another good track for us. I expect to at least be on the podium at that track. But then from Silverstone onwards to Spa and Monza and Singapore, I think Mercedes will branch out a bit of a lead once again. And then from then on to the rest of the season, I think we're going to have to chase them down to win the title. So once again, I think it's going to be another cracking season, just like Season 3 of Career Mode. But that's going to do it for today's episode. Until the next race in Austria, I'll see you guys next time.